You can have a healthy 401k balance and still not have a retirement income. The balance is what you saved. The income is what it pays you when you stop working. And only the second number decides whether you can actually stop. Point number one, a balance and an income are two completely different things. Most people planning for retirement are focused on one number. How big is my portfolio? And that makes sense. You've been told your whole working life to save more, invest more, and grow the number. But here's what nobody explains until you're about to stop working. A balance doesn't pay your bills. Income pays your bills. When you retire and your paycheck stops, you need money coming in every single month. Groceries, utilities, mortgage or rent, insurance. Those things don't pause because the market had a bad quarter. So the question isn't just how big is my portfolio? The question is how much of that portfolio turns into reliable monthly income? And this is where growth assets and income producing assets answer that question very differently. Let's take a $1.5 million portfolio. That's a number a lot of people are working toward these days. Under the 4% rule, which is the guideline financial planners use to estimate how much you can withdraw each year without running out of money, that gives you about $60,000 a year or about $5,000 a month. Here's the part that doesn't get said out loud. Every month you fund that $5,000, you're selling pieces of your portfolio. In a good market, growth refills what you sold. In a bad one, it doesn't. And the base shrinks faster than the plan assumed. Either way, you're depending on the market to keep refilling what you take out. Now compare that to an income producing asset. The asset pays you every month. You don't sell anything. The asset is still there, and the income still comes in whether the market is up or down. Those are two completely different ways to fund a retirement. One shrinks as you use it, and one doesn't. And that difference matters even more when you understand what can happen to a stock portfolio in the first few years of retirement. This is the part most people have never heard of, and it's the one that can permanently change your outcome. Point number two, sequence of returns risk, and why timing matters more than the average return. There's a concept called sequence of returns risk. I'll explain exactly what that means because it's not complicated, it's just not talked about enough. Your average return over 20 or 30 years might look great on paper, but what happens if the market drops hard in year 1, year 2 of your retirement, right when you've stopped working and started withdrawing? Here's a simple example. Two investors, same portfolio size, same average return over 20 years. The only difference is when the bad years hit. Investor A retires and in year 2 the market drops 30%. They're still pulling money out every month to live, so they're selling shares at the worst possible time, at the lowest possible price. Those shares are gone. They cannot recover. Investor B has the same average return over the same 20 years, but their bad years come in years 17 and 18. By then, they've already been withdrawing for 16 years from a portfolio that grew first. Completely different outcome. Investor A runs out of money years before Investor B runs out of money. Same average return, very different results. Because timing matters. If you're 50, 55, or 60 right now and thinking, I can't afford a major mistake at this stage, this is the risk you should be paying attention to. Not whether the market goes up long term, whether it goes down at the wrong moment. Income producing assets don't carry this risk the same way. The money comes in on a schedule that's not tied to what the market did last quarter. Which brings me to the third thing I want to show you. Point number 3. What actually solves this is an asset that pays you, not one you have to sell. The thing that fixes this is owning an asset that pays you every month while you still own it. That's a different category than what's in your 401k. The stocks and funds in there are growth assets. They build a balance, and to turn that balance into income, you have to sell pieces of them. An income-producing asset is something that pays you cash on a schedule without being sold. The asset stays. The income comes in. There's more than one kind. A rental property where a tenant pays you, a note where someone is paying you back on a property you sold them, seller financing where you hold the loan instead, like a bank, a private deal that pays you a regular distribution. They're not the same. Some are more hands-on, some are more passive. Some fit a beginner, some don't. But they all share the same core mechanic. You own something that produces income, and the income shows up whether the stock market is up or it's down. That's the shift. It's not stop investing in the market. It's add the kind of asset that pays you instead of only owning the kind that you have to sell. Now, I know what some of you are thinking right now. But Jackie, the stock market has outperformed almost everything historically, so why would I bother with this? You're right about the average return. Over long periods, the markets produce strong average returns. I'm not arguing with that number at all. But average return is the wrong measuring stick once you've stopped working. In retirement, you don't spend averages. You spend dollars on a schedule every month. Growth assets give you a great average and an unpredictable schedule. Income-producing assets give you a predictable schedule. That's the whole trade. And it's why I built my retirement on income, not on a balance I'd have to sell down every month and hope the timing worked out. Point number 4, you don't have to choose one or the other. Here's something I want to make clear before we wrap up. This is not income-producing assets instead of stocks. I'm not telling you to cash out your 401k at all. Most people who retire comfortably use both. Growth assets build the balance. Income-producing assets pay for them. Those are two different jobs, and the mistake is expecting the thing that grows to also be the thing that pays you a steady monthly check. It's not built for that. Keep your 401k, keep investing, but do this one exercise. Look at what your 401k and Social Security and any pensions will actually pay you each month when you stop working. Not the balance, the monthly income. Then compare that to what you'll actually need to cover your life. For most people, there's a gap, and that gap is exactly where income-producing assets step in. You're not blowing up your existing plan, you're filling in the part that it can't cover. This isn't theory for me. I retired in 2022, and what made that possible wasn't a 401k balance I was hoping would last. It was income from assets I own that pay me every month. Rentals where tenants pay rent, properties I rehabbed and sold with seller financing where I hold the note and still collect the payments. Different income strategies that produced enough monthly income that I could choose to stop working. That's what I'm teaching you to build, not my exact portfolio, your version of it, built around your numbers, your timeline, and what your market actually has to offer. The framework I teach is designed to flex with the conditions in your area and the opportunity in front of you, not lock you into one strategy that only works in one place. If you want to run your own numbers, I put together a free retirement gap analysis. It shows you the gap between what your 401k plus Social Security and any other income will actually pay you each month and what you actually need and how to think about closing any gap with income-producing assets. It's free, and the link is listed in the description below. If this changed how you think about retirement income, please hit subscribe. Every video on this channel gives you real numbers and a framework, not hype. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next week.